Imagine standing at the top of the mountain you've spent your whole life climbing. You've sacrificed sleep, comfort, and countless hours grinding toward that summit. You look around, the view is breathtaking, the air is thin, and you've made it. But then you turn and realize no one you love is standing there with you. The people who mattered most aren't beside you because somewhere along the way, you left them behind. That moment, would it feel like victory, or would it feel like the most expensive loss of your life? See, here's the uncomfortable truth. We are sold this idea that success means working harder, pushing longer, proving ourselves through achievement and recognition. And in that chase, we forget the very people who are supposed to share in the reward. We tell ourselves, I'm doing this for them, but if they're not with you when you arrive, then who exactly are you doing it for? Tonight, I want to talk about something most people won't admit until it's too late. That it is absolutely possible to succeed, to thrive, to achieve everything you've ever wanted without losing the people you love. And if you think it's impossible, if you think it has to be one or the other, you're about to find out why that's a lie that costs too many people their marriages, their families, and their sense of peace. Because here's the truth, success means nothing if you're celebrating it in an empty room. We grow up being taught a very narrow definition of success. Get the grades, get into the school, get the job, get the promotion, get the title, get the house, get the car. Somewhere along that conveyor belt, you wake up and realize you've been chasing something you didn't even stop to define for yourself. You were handed a script, and you've been running through the lines like a professional actor. The applause feels good for a while until it doesn't. Most people don't stop to ask, what does success actually mean to me? We treat it like it's a universal answer, like there's a scoreboard somewhere in the sky. But here's the reality. Success is personal. It's not a one-size-fits-all jacket you can just slip on. What looks like success for me might feel like a cage to you. What looks glamorous in one person's Instagram feed could feel hollow and suffocating when you live it day to day. The dangerous trap is believing that success is only measured outside, measured by the things people can see, measure, and applaud. Your title at work, the zeros in your bank account, the size of your house, the number of likes on your post. But here's the problem. Those are external scoreboards. They look impressive, but they don't tell you anything about whether you're actually fulfilled. They don't tell you whether the people closest to you feel seen, loved, and valued. I've met people who were at the top of their industries, commanding respect in every boardroom, admired by thousands of strangers, and yet they were strangers in their own homes. Their kids barely knew them. Their partner had grown cold and distant. Their parents stopped expecting them to show up. And here's the haunting truth. They would sit in those big, beautiful houses at night and feel completely alone. On paper, they had it all. In reality, they had nothing that mattered. Think about it. Why do we chase success in the first place? Most people, if you dig deep, will say, I want to provide. I want to create security. I want to make my loved ones proud. I want to give them a better life than I had. That's noble. That's powerful. But what happens when the very pursuit of that dream costs you the presence, the intimacy, and the connection with the very people you're doing it for? That's when success turns into irony. That's when I did this for you becomes a hollow excuse. So let's redefine success. Let's flip the script. Success isn't just about what you accomplish outside. It's about what you preserve inside. It's not just about the size of your bank account. It's about the health of your relationships. It's not just about recognition from strangers. It's about respect from the people who know you best. Success is meaningless if the people you love the most don't feel successful being loved by you. Now, redefining success doesn't mean you have to give up ambition. It doesn't mean you stop striving, stop building, stop pushing yourself to grow. That drive is important, and it's part of who you are. But it does mean success becomes a more holistic equation. It means you measure it differently. It's not just, what did I achieve? It's also, who did I become in the process? Who did I bring along with me? Ask yourself, what good is climbing the ladder if you burn every rung behind you so no one else can follow? What good is crossing the finish line first if you left the people you love limping miles behind you? Success is not about arriving alone at the top. It's about arriving and being able to turn around and see the faces of the people you love, smiling, proud, and right there beside you. Let me tell you something. When people reflect at the end of their lives, you know what they talk about? They don't brag about the promotion in 2007 or the stock trade they nailed in 2014 or the fact that they once had a corner office with a view. What they talk about is the time they missed their daughter's school play and they wish they hadn't. They talk about the dinners they skipped, the vacations they promised but never took, the conversations they were too tired or too distracted to have. They remember the small human moments, and they feel regret for letting those slip away in the name of success. So let's stop waiting until the end to recognize what really matters. Let's have the courage to define success now, and let's define it in a way that includes not just achievement, but connection, not just progress, but presence, not just ambition, but love. True success is being able to walk into your home and feel the warmth of people who are glad you exist, not just the respect of colleagues who admire what you can produce. True success is hearing your child say, "You were there for me." It's hearing your partner say, "I never felt like I came second." It's knowing your parents, your siblings, your friends can count on you even when the world is pulling you in 100 directions. This is not about choosing between success and relationships. This is about refusing to accept a definition of success that forces you to sacrifice one for the other. Success is both. It's not either or. It's not money or love, career or family, achievement or intimacy. It's about designing a version of success that allows you to have all of it, because otherwise, what's the point? The question isn't, can I succeed? The real question is, when I succeed, will the people I love still feel loved by me? Will they recognize me when I get there? Will they be proud not just of what I accomplished, but of how I accomplished it? And here's the best part. When you redefine success this way, you actually become more powerful. You stop chasing shallow wins and start building a life that's meaningful. You stop climbing ladders that don't lead anywhere and start creating your own mountain, one that's worth climbing. You don't just achieve, you thrive. And you don't thrive alone, you thrive with the people who matter most, standing right there beside you. Because the real measure of success isn't just how far you go, it's who's still holding your hand when you get there. Most people wear exhaustion like it's a badge of honor. They'll say things like, "I'm grinding, I'm hustling, I'll sleep when I'm dead." They believe that pouring every ounce of their time and energy into their career or their goals is the only way to prove they're serious about success. And for a while, that kind of hustle might even feel powerful. You feel unstoppable, like you can take on anything. But here's the part no one talks about. You're not the only one paying the price for that grind. The people who love you are paying it too. Boundaries are not about laziness, and they are not about saying you don't care about your work. Boundaries are about understanding that your energy, your attention, and your time are limited resources. If you give it all away to your work, there's nothing left for the people waiting at home. And that's where so many of us go wrong. We assume the people we love will understand. We think they'll just know we're doing it for them, or they'll wait patiently until we finally make time. But love is not unconditional when it comes to neglect. People may love you, but they also need you. They need your presence, not just your paycheck. Think about your phone battery. You wouldn't let it drain down to 0 every single day without charging it. You wouldn't just keep using it until it shut off and then expect it to somehow keep working. Yet so many of us treat ourselves and our relationships that way. We give and give to work, to ambition, to everyone else's demands. And then when we get home, the people who matter most are getting what's left, the scraps. The tired, burned out version of us that can barely form a sentence without checking email or scrolling on a phone. That's not fair to them, and it's not fair to you. Boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges. They allow you to protect your most valuable resources, so you can show up fully for the people who matter. Without boundaries, success consumes you. With boundaries, success becomes sustainable. It becomes something you can share. The challenge is this: setting boundaries makes people uncomfortable. Sometimes even you. You might feel guilty saying no to extra work, turning down a meeting, or putting your phone on silent during family dinner. You might worry people will see you as less ambitious, less committed, less driven. But let's flip that question. What does it say about you if the people you love see you as absent, disconnected, or unavailable? If your family has stopped asking for your time because they already know the answer will be no, then what exactly are you proving? Boundaries don't just protect your time, they send a message about what and who you value. When you say, "I don't take calls after 7 p.m. because that's family time," you're not just setting a rule, you're declaring a priority. When you tell your boss, "I don't work on Sundays," you're not just blocking off a day. You're saying, "This is sacred and I'm not for sale." And here's the powerful part. People may resist at first, but eventually they respect people who respect themselves. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people at work. One answers every email instantly, takes every call, says yes to every request, and works late into the night. The other works hard, delivers results, but is clear. After this time, I'm with my family. If it's urgent, you'll have it tomorrow morning. At first, the second person might be seen as less available. But over time, what happens? The first person gets drained, burned out, and resentful. The second person builds a reputation for being efficient, reliable, and balanced. They get things done without sacrificing their personal life. That's the power of boundaries. Boundaries also create trust at home. Think about a child who knows, without a doubt, that every Saturday morning, no matter what, mom or dad is there to make pancakes with them. That's a boundary. That's a commitment. Think about a partner who knows that when you're together, your phone is face down and your attention is on them. That's a boundary. These little moments may not seem like much, but they add up to a sense of security, love, and connection that no paycheck can buy. Without boundaries, resentment builds. Your loved ones might not say it at first, but they feel it. They notice when you cancel plans for another meeting. They notice when you're physically present, but mentally elsewhere. They notice when every conversation has to wait until after this project is done, even though the projects never stop. And eventually, they stop asking. They stop trying. That's how relationships erode, not in one dramatic explosion, but in a slow drip of absence. You have to decide what kind of life you're building. Do you want to be successful on the outside but invisible on the inside? Or do you want to be the kind of person who can stand tall in both arenas, the professional world and the personal one, because you've protected the boundaries that keep you whole? Setting boundaries also requires honesty with yourself. If you're afraid to disconnect, ask why. Is it because you think you're irreplaceable at work? Is it because you're chasing validation from bosses or colleagues more than you're seeking connection with the people you love? Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes boundaries force us to confront the fact that we've been hiding behind busyness to avoid the vulnerability of relationships. But growth doesn't come from comfort, it comes from truth. The real flex isn't saying I work 80 hours a week. The real flex is saying I work hard, I succeed, and I still have dinner with my family every night. I still tuck my kids into bed. I still sit down with my partner and give them my full attention. That's strength. That's discipline. That's balance. So ask yourself, where are my boundaries? Do I have them, or am I letting work, ambition, and outside demands bleed into every corner of my life? And more importantly, what message am I sending to the people I love about their value? Because every time you draw a boundary, you're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting them. You're saying, you matter enough to me that I won't let the world take me away from you. At the end of the day, boundaries aren't about keeping people out. They're about keeping the right people in. They're about creating space for what matters. So when you succeed, you don't just have the trophies on your shelf, you have the people you love right there celebrating with you. And that, more than any promotion or paycheck, is what makes the climb worth it. If there's one thing that destroys more relationships than anything else, it's not betrayal or big arguments, it's silence. It's the slow erosion that happens when people stop talking, stop listening, stop expressing what they feel. Communication is the currency of connection. It's how you pay attention, how you invest love, and how you show the people in your life that they matter. And just like real currency, if you stop investing it, the relationship goes bankrupt. The irony is that most people think communication is optional, like a nice add-on if you have time. They assume the people they love just know how much they care. But no one can read your mind. You may love your partner, your kids, your parents, your friends with everything you've got, but if you never say it, never show it, never act on it, it's like having money in the bank but never spending it. They can't feel it. They can't use it. They can't live off of your good intentions. Success can make this worse, because the busier we get, the more we assume efficiency matters more than intimacy. We rush conversations, we half listen, we multitask while someone is trying to open up to us. We tell ourselves, I'll have a deeper conversation later when I'm less busy. But later rarely comes, and so the people closest to us start to feel invisible, like they've been pushed to the bottom of our to-do list. Communication is not just about words, it's about presence. It's about the way you put down your phone and look someone in the eye when they're talking. It's about the way you don't just listen to reply, but listen to understand. It's about the way you tell someone, I'm proud of you, not just when they achieve something big, but when they do the small, everyday things that show their character. Those little affirmations cost you nothing, but they can mean everything to the person receiving them. Think about the last time someone told you out of the blue that they appreciated you, that your effort mattered, That they saw you. Didn't it shift something inside you? Didn't it give you energy, motivation, a sense of being valued? That's the power of communication. And if you remember how good it feels to receive it, then why would you starve the people you love of that same gift? The truth is, relationships don't usually collapse because of a lack of love. They collapse because of a lack of acknowledgement. You can love someone deeply, but if they don't feel it, it's like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. Eventually, it runs dry. Words and actions are how you seal those holes. They are how you make love tangible. But communication isn't just about praise, it's also about honesty. Too often people avoid difficult conversations because they don't want to create conflict. They'd rather keep the peace. But silence is not peace. It's avoidance. True connection requires courage. It means being willing to say, "This hurt me," or "I need this from you," or "I feel distant and I want us to fix it." Those conversations might be uncomfortable in the moment, but they're how you prevent small cracks from becoming fractures. Success without communication is dangerous because the more you achieve, the more disconnected you can become. You start assuming your work speaks for itself. Look at everything I've provided. Look at what I've built. Of course they know I love them. But provision is not the same as presence. Sacrifice is not the same as communication. You cannot outsource your words. You cannot assume your love is obvious. You have to say it. You have to show it. Let's get practical for a moment. Imagine you spent just 5 minutes a day intentionally communicating with the people you love. 5 minutes telling your child one thing you admire about them. 5 minutes asking your partner, what was the best part of your day? And really listening to the answer. 5 minutes calling a parent or a friend, just to check in and say, "I was thinking about you." That's less time than you probably spend scrolling through your phone. But the return on investment, it's massive, because those moments add up. They build a foundation of trust, closeness, and belonging that no career achievement can replace. And it doesn't have to be grand gestures. In fact, it's usually the small, consistent signals that matter most. A text that says, "Good luck on your meeting, I believe in you." A sticky note left on the bathroom mirror that says, "You've got this." A simple "I love you" said not out of habit, but with intention. These things sound small, but they are deposits into the emotional bank account of your relationship. And when the storms of life hit, and they will, that account is what carries you through. On the flip side, think about what happens when communication is absent. People start to guess. They start to wonder. They start to assume. And when people are left to assume, they rarely assume the best. A partner who feels ignored may start to believe they're not loved. A child who feels unheard may start to believe they're not important. A friend who feels forgotten may start to believe they don't matter. Silence creates stories in people's minds, and those stories can become walls that separate you. This is why communication is not optional. It's oxygen. Without it, relationships suffocate. With it, they thrive. And the more successful you become, the more intentional you have to be about it. Because success will pull at your attention from every direction. Everyone will want a piece of you. But the people you love don't just want a piece, they want your heart. And your heart is delivered through your words and your presence. So here's the challenge. Stop assuming they know. Start telling them. Start showing them. Don't wait for a birthday or an anniversary to express appreciation. Don't wait for a crisis to open up about how you feel. Make communication a daily practice, like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. It doesn't take long, but it keeps everything healthy. Because at the end of the day, what people remember isn't what you bought them or even what you achieved. What they remember is how you made them feel. Did they feel seen? Did they feel heard? Did they feel valued? And those answers depend on one thing, the quality of your communication. The currency of communication is available to you right now. It doesn't require a raise, a promotion, or more hours in your day. It just requires intention. It requires you to pause, to speak, to listen, and to invest. Because success is not success if the people you love are starving for your words while the rest of the world praises you. So spend generously, speak often, listen deeply, and remember, communication is the wealth that keeps love alive. Time is the one currency we all spend but can never earn back. You can lose money and make it again. You can miss an opportunity and create a new one. But every minute that passes is gone forever. And yet most of us live as if time is unlimited. We treat it like it's cheap, like we can just throw it at anything and anyone and it won't cost us. The truth is, time is the most expensive thing you own. How you spend it will decide not just your success, but your happiness, your relationships, and ultimately, your legacy. When people say they're too busy for their loved ones, what they're really saying is, that's not a priority for me right now. It's harsh, but it's true. Because at the end of the day, we all make time for what matters most. If you can spend hours on your phone scrolling, you can spend 10 minutes talking to your child about their day. If you can stay late at the office for one more meeting, you can carve out an evening to sit across from your partner with no distractions. Time is not something you find, it's something you choose. And every choice says something about what and who you value. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is I'll make time later. Later, when the promotion comes. Later, when the business takes off. Later, when things calm down. But later never arrives. Life doesn't calm down. It just changes its shape. There's always another project, another deadline, another excuse to push the people you love to the margins. And one day you wake up and the moments you thought you'd get to later are gone. The recital happened without you. The dinner table grew quiet. The relationship you assumed would wait forever stopped waiting. Time with the people you love is not a luxury, it's an investment. And it's an investment that compounds. A 10-minute bedtime story builds into a memory your child carries for life. A weekly date night becomes the foundation of a marriage that feels alive instead of routine. A Sunday phone call to your parents becomes the thing that comforts them more than any gift ever could. These small, consistent investments are what create unbreakable bonds. You don't need hours every single day. You need intentionality. You need rituals that anchor you no matter how chaotic life gets. Think about how we treat our professional calendars. We wouldn't dare skip a meeting with a client. We wouldn't show up late to a board presentation. We wouldn't ignore a scheduled call with someone who holds our future in their hands. But do we give our loved ones the same respect? Do we schedule them in with the same seriousness? Do we protect their time on our calendars with the same ferocity we protect a business meeting? Imagine if we did. Imagine if family dinner was as non-negotiable as a meeting with your boss. Imagine if your kid's soccer game was blocked off on your calendar the same way you'd block off an important deadline. That's when your priorities stop being theoretical and start being real. Now, some people will say, but I don't have enough time. The truth is, you do. You're just spending it in ways you don't realize. Time is leaking out through distractions, through endless scrolling, through saying yes to commitments that don't align with your values, through chasing other people's approval instead of focusing on what really matters. When you audit your time, you realize you have more than you think. The question is, are you spending it on what lasts or on what fades? Let me put it this way. Nobody ever lies on their deathbed and says, I wish I had spent more time in the office. Nobody says, I wish I had answered more emails or made more PowerPoint slides. What people say over and over again is, I wish I had spent more time with my family. I wish I had been there for the moments that mattered. I wish I hadn't missed so much. That's the regret. That's the pain of realizing too late that you traded the irreplaceable for the replaceable. But here's the good news. You don't have to wait until it's too late. You can decide right now to treat your time as the priceless asset it is. You can choose to invest it where it matters. You can create micro moments that build into memories. You can block out rituals that make your loved ones feel secure and prioritized. You can start small. Dinner together twice a week. Phones down for 30 minutes every night. A weekend outing once a month that your kids can look forward to. These don't have to be grand gestures. They just have to be consistent. And here's the thing. When you invest your time in your relationships, it doesn't just make them stronger, it makes you stronger. When your partner feels supported, when your children feel loved, when your friends feel seen, you operate from a place of peace instead of guilt. You stop carrying the silent weight of neglect. You show up at work more focused because your home life is not crumbling. You chase goals with clarity because your foundation is solid. Success doesn't pull you apart, it fuels every part of your life. Time is the real wealth, and the wealthiest people are not the ones with the biggest bank accounts, but the ones who can look around their dinner table and see faces lit up with love and connection. They are the ones who chose to be present, not just productive. They are the ones who didn't just count their hours, but made their hours count. So ask yourself right now, where is my time going? Who is getting the best of me? And who is only getting the leftovers? And if the people you love most are surviving off scraps of your time, what are you going to do about it? Because success without shared time is failure in disguise. You might impress the world, but you'll break the hearts of the people who matter most. Don't wait until later. Don't wait until someday. The time to love, to show up, to connect is now. Because time is slipping through your fingers, whether you notice it or not. Spend it on what lasts. Invest it where it matters, because time is not just your real wealth, it's the only wealth that once gone can never return. Success is often sold as a solo journey. You hustle, you grind, you climb the mountain. The spotlight shines on you, your name is on the award, and the world applauds. But here's the truth, most people don't realize until it's too late. Winning alone is empty. Standing at the top without anyone to share it with isn't victory, it's isolation dressed up as achievement. Real success isn't about crossing the finish line by yourself. It's about making sure the people you love are running beside you, celebrating with you, and feeling like they won too. Think about the stories we admire most. They're not the ones where someone conquered the world and ended up alone. They're the stories where someone overcame obstacles, achieved greatness, and brought others along in the process. Because deep down, we know success without love is hollow. It's applause in a silent room. It's a trophy on a dusty shelf. It looks shiny on the outside but feels cold on the inside. Winning together means redefining success, so it's not just about me, but about us. It's about shifting from ego to partnership, from proving yourself to building something meaningful that includes the people who matter. Because what good is reaching your dream if the journey costs you the very relationships that give your life meaning? When you choose to win together, you start involving your loved ones in the journey, instead of dragging them behind it. You share your dreams with them. You tell them not only what you're working toward, but why. You ask for their input. You let them in on the struggles as well as the victories. When you do this, your success doesn't feel like something you stole time away from them to achieve. It feels like something you built together, something they can be proud of because they were part of it. Imagine you're building a business. You could shut your family out of the process, bury yourself in work, and then emerge years later with money in the bank, but distance in your home. Or you could bring them along, talk to them about your vision, your challenges, your milestones. Celebrate small wins together. Ask for their perspective. Let them feel like the success is theirs too, because in a very real way it is. They're sacrificing with you, supporting you, holding you up when you're tired. If they're giving so much to your dream, why shouldn't they feel ownership in the victory? Winning together also means adjusting how you define milestones. Success isn't just landing the big client, getting the promotion, or hitting the revenue goal. It's also having dinner with your family 3 nights in a row. It's making your kids game even though you were exhausted. It's carving out an hour for your partner even when your schedule is packed. These are victories too. Victories of presence, victories of balance, victories of love. And when you start celebrating those alongside your professional wins, you create a life where success feels whole, not fractured. Now, some people resist this idea because they think involving others in their journey will slow them down. They believe relationships are distractions, that love is a liability. But here's the irony. People who try to succeed alone often burn out faster. They carry the weight by themselves, with no one to lean on, no one to remind them why it matters. The climb feels heavier because they've chosen loneliness in the name of focus. On the other hand, people who bring their loved ones along often find more strength, more resilience, more motivation. When you know your win is their win, quitting stops being an option. You're not just fighting for yourself, you're fighting for all of you. That's fuel no paycheck can match. There's also something deeply grounding about winning together. Success can make your head spin. The attention, the money, the recognition, it can all go to your head if you're not careful. But when you're surrounded by people who know you, who love you not for what you do, but for who you are, you stay anchored. They keep you humble. They remind you that you're more than your job, your title, or your achievements. They see the human behind the resume, and that keeps you real. Think of the most meaningful moments in life. A wedding, the birth of a child, a holiday spent laughing around the table. None of these are solo wins. They're shared victories. They mean something precisely because you experienced them with others. Success should be the same. If you build a life where your biggest wins are shared, then you've built something worth fighting for. And here's the challenge I'll leave you with. Start asking yourself, when I win, who else wins with me? If the answer is no one, then you're chasing the wrong definition of success. But if the answer is my family, my partner, my friends, my community, then you're on the right track, because that's what legacy is. Legacy isn't just what you achieve, it's who you lift, who you love, and who you bring with you along the way. At the end of the day, life isn't about how far you went alone. It's about the memories you made, the bonds you kept, and the people who can stand beside you and say, we did this together. That's the kind of success that outlasts titles and trophies. That's the kind of success that fills your heart, not just your calendar. That's the kind of success worth living for. So don't just win together. Because the view from the top is only beautiful if you have someone you love standing right there beside you to see it too. We live in a world that keeps shouting at us to go faster, push harder, achieve more. And yes, achievement matters. Growth matters. Building something with your life matters. But none of it will ever mean more than the people who love you. Titles fade, money comes and goes, trophies gather dust, but the faces around your table, the laughter in your home, the voices that call your name when you walk through the door, that's the real measure of success. Success is not about climbing the mountain alone. It's about reaching the top with your relationships intact, your integrity unbroken, and your loved ones beside you, proud not just of what you accomplished, but of how you accomplished it. That is true winning. So here's the choice in front of you. You can chase success in a way that leaves you standing at the top alone, or you can build a life where you succeed and keep the people you love close. And the truth is, it's not about having time, it's about making it. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. It's not about grand gestures, it's about consistent ones. When you walk out of here today, remember this. The world may measure you by what you achieve, but the people who love you will measure you by how you loved them. Don't trade what is irreplaceable for what is temporary. Don't lose your family, your partner, your friendships in pursuit of applause that will fade tomorrow. Build a life where you don't just succeed, you succeed without losing the people who make success worth having in the first place. Because at the end of it all, the true test of a life well lived won't be what you earned. It will be who you kept.